A new era of human spaceflight is set to begin as American astronauts once again launch on an American rocket from American soil to the International Space Station as part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program. NASA astronauts Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley will fly on SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft, lifting off on a Falcon 9 rocket from Launch Complex 39A in Florida for an extended stay at the space station for the Demo-2 mission. The specific duration of the mission is to be determined. As the final flight test for SpaceX, this mission will validate the company's crew transportation system, including the launch pad, rocket, spacecraft, and operational capabilities. This also will be the first time NASA astronauts will test the spacecraft system in orbit. Behnken and Hurley were among the first astronauts to begin working and training on SpaceX's next generation human space vehicle, and were selected for the extensive test pilot and flight experience, including several missions on the space shuttle. Behnken will be the Joint Operations Commander for the mission, responsible for activities such as rendezvous, docking and undocking, as well as Demo-2 activities while the spacecraft is docked on the space station. Hurley will be the spacecraft commander for Demo-2, responsible for activities such as launch, landing, and recovery. I am joined today by NASA Ambassador Dr. Janet Vasquez and from journalist live from Puerto Rico, Nancy Lopez.
Hi.
How are you?
It is so amazing to be here with all of you. I have the opportunity in the past to meet in person Bob, Robert, and his wife. Do you know that his wife is astronaut also? And the kids, yes. So this is so amazing. Talk to them before when they are in the preparation of this amazing event. And today being connected, to see it. Because COVID, we have to connect online, but it's okay because this is an historic moment, and later on, when COVID passed, we can return back and see what's going.
Where are you right now?
I am in Puerto Rico, but I have a direct connection with all of them because I am ambassador. So all the events that I doing from NASA, we share for all the NASA ambassadors around the world. And that's so great. So this program is going to have a copy and all the ambassador logistic and everything. So we are doing history also.
Yes. And
that's also great.
Say again?
It's so great because, I was in the past seeing a launch in person, and for the most minimal details, they can stop a launch. In the past, there was a mice, and the foot of the mice is, they delay from one day. In this case, they have human, and the American NASA, the American astronaut cannot launch until 2011, something like that. 2011 from today, this is the first time from that day, from that year, that they have two people that is very experienced, because I don't know if you know that Robert was the chief of the all astronauts, and he trains the other ones. And, he's now doing his dream comes true. Also everybody in SpaceX is doing their dreams come true. This is the first time that a private company is doing a launch for NASA.
Yes.
And for SpaceX, this is so amazing. And for us also to see, and how we can connect from different peoples around the world and see that everybody is excited for this event. This is an history
This is what
in
we
the
love
middle of
about.
COVID-19.
Excuse me.
Yes, in the middle of COVID-19, we have some hope and we can distract a little bit.
What's happening with NASA?
Power them the rest of the way. Second engine cutoff comes in just under 9 minutes at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds. Following that second stage completing its job, it'll continue to coast for about 3 minutes. It'll do a slight attitude adjustment and null out any rates to make sure it's not in any kind of a spin before they do separation. So that's when the Dragon spacecraft will physically separate from the Falcon 9 vehicle and Bob and Doug will be flying free. It's about a 19-hour ride if we launch today on time. So that means Bob and Doug will get on orbit. They'll have a number of burns or those firings of those Draco thrusters that they'll do over
Stage 2 launch load started.
You hear the lock. The liquid oxygen load has now started on stage 2. Again, they're going to be doing a series of burns on the way uphill towards the International Space Station 5, spread out over the first 16 hours or so of their flight until they get much closer and it's time for that approach and docking. And we are expecting that with an on-time launch to happen today. That'll be coming tomorrow in the afternoon.
Jeanette and Nancy, I also want to introduce you, the voice, our director and producer.
Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yes. So we need to fix a couple of things. So, Nancy, can you turn down your speaker a little bit, the volume? Jeanette, can you tell her in Spanish?
Hi.
Okay.
Jeanette, can you tell Nancy
Yes, I'm
turn down
translating.
the volume of her
Yes.
speaker?
Okay, que apagues el volumen que tienes allá
Oh, okay.
para que
Okay.
ellos puedan.
Much better.
Okay.
And can you tell her to turn the phone horizontally, landscape style, please, in Spanish?
Que tienes que virar el
Oh, okay,
teléfono en forma horizontal. Porque está en forma vertical. Así.
Okay.
Del otro lado. Del otro lado.
No, she needs to
Del
unlock
otro lado.
the orientation. She
Okay,
has the
tienes que
orientation lock.
arreglar. No es el teléfono. Es dentro del teléfono. La orientación del teléfono.
Oh my God.
He's fixing everything.
Oh my
No
God.
es el teléfono, la orientación.
And also, this is what we love about space, that brings people together worldwide. Doesn't matter where you're from, how old are you, your race, your belief. Everybody's excited today for this historical launch. It's been almost a decade that American astronauts were sent to the International Space Station from American soil, and with a commercial company like SpaceX. So today is very, very special. I'm very excited to share it with Jeanette and Nancy.
Siempre problemas técnicos. Pero estoy aquí, ¿qué es lo más importante?
Yes. Shall we share what's happening with NASA? We are almost 20 minutes away to launch. Let's see what's going on.
Do you know that
On both the
this
first and
dress
second
that you see that they have is a new
Mhm.
one?
Oh,
And
wow.
they developed that dress only for them. Yes, because one of the challenges they have the NASA is the more comfortable environmental, see all the details that they can be more comfortable in this launch. So they changed the seat, they changed the clothes, They change.
Wow.
There's more space and everything, and they change the food. You know that the food
Ah,
of the astronauts was so crazy because there was like liquid. If you want to eat a meat in the past, it was like a liquid that you have to eat. Right now, no. They have food like we have, and they can eat everything that they want to eat. So
that's
that is so
amazing.
amazing.
And talking about outfits,
Hmm.
what are you wearing, Jeanette? I love your t-shirt. Can you show
Okay. Do
us?
you see this? Yes, this is from SpaceX. They give me this gift.
That's so beautiful.
This is a T-shirt of a SpaceX. Yes, I received an official T-shirt. This is for the
Yeah,
other lunch. Let me see if I can put it in the back so you can see. Let me put this here so you can see in my back. Oh my God! Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can move the telephone
yes.
so you can see in my back.
Let's hear what's
Do you see
happening
there?
with NASA.
Oh, and later on I'm going to show you the back. But the thing is that this is so amazing because they give me a SpaceX. I meet some people. I don't meet Elton, but I meet the other people that is and there is manager, top manager in NASA and the
Fantastic.
SpaceX.
Okay, let's see what's going on. We're very close to launch.
in the northern Atlantic, and then there is a zone of the northern Atlantic that we're going to avoid. And so you should hear the call out be something similar to forward to Shannon, and that just refers to Shannon, Ireland, which they'll be going off the coast of Ireland at the later stages of the second stage if they have to abort. So just prepping you now for some of those calls. You're hopefully going to hear that word nominal a whole lot on the way uphill. 10.5 minutes. Things are pretty quiet. As John I said, it'll pick up right at about 10 minutes. We'll wait for the crew just to confirm that their displays are in order. The crew is already strapped in and reported that they are go for launch. And we'll continue to watch the fuel gauges tick up on the Falcon 9 vehicle until fueling cuts off at just about 2 minutes prior to launch.
Dragon, SpaceX confirmed displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch.
I want to share
Copy.
some moments
Doug,
that
on behalf
are
of the entire
really
SpaceX team, it's been a
important
huge
and
honor to help you get
crucial
ready for
during the
today's historic
launch.
mission. Know that
I
we're
want to
with you.
read it because I
Have an
want to
amazing
make sure
flight.
that I say it
Enjoy those
right.
views of our beautiful
So
planet.
after 1 minute during the launch, we have the max
Thanks, Jay.
Q moment.
It is absolutely
And
our honor to be
that,
part of this.
wait a second. The max Q is the 58 seconds from the start and is the moment of maximum aerodynamic pressure. That is when the air resistance reaches the peak. And this increases with speed but decreases with altitude due to the lower density of the air. Max Q is the point where the sum of these two factors is maximum. Usually, to overcome this delicate moment without problems, the motors temporarily reduce their thrust. After just another 90 seconds, we have another pivotal moment, the separation of the booster, the lower part of the rocket, from the second stage. And the latter will start his engine and continue his run to bring the capsule to the International Space Station. In the meantime, the booster will return to Earth and land vertically on the barge called Of Course I Still Love You, which awaits you in the middle of the ocean. And this operation will allow the SpaceX company to reuse the rocket in the future flights. And then 11 minutes after the start, Dragon 2 will detach from the second stage and begin to slowly approach the International Space Station. And a delicate maneuver that does not allow mistakes. And the two astronauts, when they arrive 150 meters from the docking port or the dock where they will connect with the station, will simulate a failure and will manually maneuver the capsule. Then, once the test is complete, leave everything in the hands of the automatic system that will finalize the maneuver. Upon arrival, 19 hours will have passed since departure. These are the crucial moments. So if everything is okay with the weather today, after a few minutes from the launch, we will see the part of the rocket landing back on Earth. And that is very, very exciting. And it's a technology developed by SpaceX. So let's see what's happening with NASA. We have 7 minutes to launch.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started.
We've heard the call out. Stage 1 engine chill has started. That's gone up to the crew so that they've got situational awareness. As I mentioned, the pre-valves are open. And now we are topping off. Getting ready to finish the fuel.
No, my friend.
Liquid oxygen load on first and second stage.
No, my friend.
Continue until the last 3 to 2 minutes of the countdown.
We should hear that call out RP1 load complete coming up in about 6 minutes. Again, RP1 is just that densified kerosene or that rocket fuel that Falcon 9 is going to be used to power Bob and Doug to orbit today.
And Stage 1 fuel is closed out.
Right on time. That call out indicates that the fuel loading on the first stage is complete. Draining back the lines now. So first stage and second stage fuel are complete. Liquid oxygen loading is continuing on both stages. You can see on the view on the left side of the monitor, the condensation, the cold gas wrapped around the stages as the tank skins are chilled by the densified liquid oxygen, picking up the humidity from the Florida air.
Looks like at this moment we're a little more than 90% full on the
Jeanette,
oxidizer on the first stage, ticking up towards that 80% mark on the second stage. We'll be counting.
Tell me, what do you think? Your thoughts? Hello? No. You muted it. See, you've got two devices on at the same time. Can you hear me? Jeanette?
Jeanette?
We're pressurizing the Falcon 9 tanks. We're going to open the clamp arm around the second stage and begin to retract the strong back. We'll move back about 2 degrees. That'll get us to the liftoff position. At liftoff, the strong back will then recline about 45 degrees away.
Started.
Nancy, can you see if Jeanette can hear you?
Stage 2, RP1 bleed.
Launch director called out the strong back retract has started. On the left, you'll see it go back just a couple of degrees.
We're getting very close to the moment.
Hi, Jeanette. Can you unmute this device?
We are just 4 minutes away from liftoff. Again, at this moment, Bob and Doug are really just...
What happened, Jeanette? Everything was working.
Hi.
Here, she's back.
But then if I take off this one, I won't be able to hear you. You have two devices.
So 3 minutes to go.
Oh my God.
And the strong back is now reclining away from the Falcon 9.
Fuel is on and weather looks good. Yay!
Yeah.
Weather is very beautiful. No, not thunderstorm this time. Look at that.
I'll go bleed.
2 minutes.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power. Stage 1, launch load closed out.
Okay, we're at seconds. Stage 1 LOX load is closed out. Stage 2 will continue to load for about another half a minute or so. Once we get the completion of stage 2 LOX loading, we have to vent down the line. So you'll see another large white cloud coming off of the strongback. That'll be normal. That'll happen
Vehicle
around
is transitioning to
T-minus
internal
Seduce
1 minute
me.
and 40 seconds. We're going on internal power.
Stage 2 LOX load being complete. It's been almost 9 years since we've been in this position. A lot of work done by thousands of people to get to this point. All our eyes focused on 2 now.
What's that water?
It's raining.
No, they're cleaning something.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
The camera.
No, I think this is the water because of the
Dragon is in auto idle.
propelling
Yes.
fire.
1 minute.
Stage
Jeanette,
2
unmute
LOX
yourself.
load
I can't hear
complete.
you.
All fuel, all oxidizer on Falcon 9. 1 minute, 34 seconds to go till launch.
1 minute, 33
Ground gas closeout
seconds.
is starting.
There we go. Jeanette? Jeanette? Can you hear me, Jeanette? Shake your head up and down. Shake it sideways. Shake it diagonally. Jeanette? Hear me?
Falcon 9 is in start. Dragon is in countdown. FTS is armed for launch.
50
Under a minute
seconds.
now, the FTS, the flight termination system, has been armed.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch.
They're
Let's light
launching.
this candle.
They're launching.
T-minus 30 seconds.
30 seconds to launch. 30 seconds to launch.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8,
This is it.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zero.
So rise to the new era of American space flight.
Stage 1.
Oh my God! This is amazing!
Super!
Flying through. Nine and look at them go.
Falcon power comes phenomenal.
So beautiful! Excellent!
Vehicle is supersonic.
We've exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9.
Mach 1. Oh,
M1D throttle
wow.
up.
Wow!
We're throttling back up to full power as we're through max Q.
Copy.
Too much Q.
¡Qué bello!
Call out. That's just the second abort zone that they're in. They'll continue to be on this until the first stage has done its job and they switch over to the second. At this point, Bob and Doug pulling about 2.3 Gs, 2.3 times the Earth's gravity, already moving at over 1,500 miles per hour.
Wow.
We've heard the
Muy
call out for the
bello!
back engine ready to light. That'll come at about 2:44 into flight. Right now, everything continuing to look good. Next major event coming up is going to be the triple. We'll have new cutoff of the 9 first stage engines, stage separation, and then ignition of the second stage engine to continue to carry astronauts into orbit.
Wow.
¡Qué
Coming up in about 20
hermoso!
M1D throttle down.
Wow, look at the view.
We're throttling down the Merlin on the first stage.
Wow.
And we have Miko.
Miko.
2 Alpha.
Falcon stage separation confirmed.
Copy.
¡Qué bello!
MVAC ignition.
All right, we have stage separation confirmed. The first stage beginning its flight back. The second stage being powered by that single Merlin 1D vacuum engine has ignited and is now
Acquisition of signal
carrying
loss.
Bob and Doug into orbit. So they're going to continue under the power of this second
Stage
stage,
2 propulsion is nominal.
which will cut off at SECO, or second engine cut off at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds into.
This is called escape velocity, which is the speed in which something overcomes the Earth's gravity and therefore reaching outer space. This is the secret of all success, reaching escape velocity.
Wow.
No orbit.
Dragon
Today's
SpaceX
nominal.
nominal trajectory.
Acquisition of signal in Bermuda.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
Look
All
at
right, here in
Earth, how
nominal trajectory,
beautiful
so
is
Dragon
it?
pointed in the right direction, continuing to make
How
their flight
beautiful it
uphill.
is.
For
It
an
is.
acquisition of
Yeah.
Bermuda, that's one of the other ground stations that they're using to get telemetry and data back from this spacecraft.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
Jeanette, can you hear me? But I cannot hear you because I would like to have you comment in Spanish.
Ah, okay. My comment in Spanish.
Sí.
Ok. Señoras y señores, hemos vivido un momento
A little over 4 minutes, 40
histórico.
seconds into the flight. Bob and Doug flying
Apenas
600 miles
Dragon
per hour.
SpaceX nominal trajectory.
después del 2011,
Already almost 200.
tuvimos dos astronautas que se lanzan a la Luna. Estados Unidos ha hecho eso en medio de la pandemia del COVID-19. Como ustedes ven, la nave se despegó con éxito y los dos astronautas están ahora en órbita fuera del planeta Tierra. We are outside the Earth.
Grid fins deployed. It's making its way back to attempt to land on our drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You Today. We're just about a couple minutes away from the entry burn, and that's where 3 of the 9 Merlin engines do ignite to help slow the vehicle down as it re-enters back into the Earth's atmosphere. And then after the entry burn will be the landing burn, which is just a single engine
Dragon
burn.
SpaceX nominal trajectory.
And
Speed
you heard
is 11
Starting
kilometers.
chill for entry burn.
is that call out. They
11,000,
are still on a
12,000
nominal
kilometers per
trajectory
hour.
on Dragon. Still on second stage, and that's that MVAC engine on second stage on your left screen.
Their distance from Earth is like 200 kilometers, similar to the distance from Los Angeles to Santa Barbara, moving at 13,500 kilometers per hour.
Two minutes from now, we'll hear the call out SECO. It'll then be a little
Stage 2
under, or a
propulsion
little
is still
over,
good.
a little over 3 minutes until Dragon physically separates from the second stage of the Falcon 9 after the upper
Dragon
stage gets a
SpaceX
chance.
nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies nominal trajectory.
Continuing to check in with Bob and Doug as they are on a nominal trajectory. Just about 10 seconds away from that first stage, starting that entry burn on your right screen. We should be able to see that view live.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there is that entry burn
Acquisition of signal,
beginning.
New Hampshire.
This burn lasts about 36 seconds long.
Stage 2.
Look at the
FTS
right
stage.
screen. You'll see how they control the spacecraft. And they're about to reach stage 2.
Well, that entry burn,
That burn
continues.
will-
We're just about a minute away from
will
SECO.
continue.
We'll have a number of events all happen in rapid succession. It'll
Copy,
be the
shut down.
second engine cutoff.
Stage 1
We'll be
entry burn
looking
shut
for
down.
Engine
that,
cutoff.
Stage 1 land.
Notice the little adjustments on stage right on the screen on the right hand side. This is how they control the spacecraft in extreme precision.
Now themselves.
Terminal guidance.
And back throttle step.
We are coming up 25 seconds or so away from SECO, or second engine cutoff.
This is also the point
Second
where
engine
Bob
cutoff.
and Doug are experiencing their highest G-force. We're seeing the counter tick up to right about
Stage 1 entry
1.8.
transonic.
Copy Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final abort zones. If they were to abort at this point, it would either be an abort to orbit or to land off the coast of Ireland. Standing by for second
Stage 1
engine
landing
cutoff
startup.
confirmation.
And back throttle step.
26,000 kilometers per hour.
Everyone is wearing masks.
Confirmation of SECO's second engine cutoff.
Now we are waiting for our first stage.
Do you see there is the area that
Nominal orbit.
they are managing everything that's happened in the air in the coet?
Mm-hmm.
Ahora
This
mismo
is the
están
landing
manejando
site.
todo lo que se ve en el cohete. Ellos están, hay unos circuitos que son automáticos, otros que hacen los pilotos.
Wow.
Así que los pilotos no es que están
Did he
solitos
land already?
guiando
Yes,
el cohete.
part of the rocket returned back to Earth.
Let's hear.
2 minutes to orbit. So
The
very
astronaut is
fast.
not alone driving the
And as you can see on your right screen, Bob and Doug
everything.
are still
They have people
making
in
their
the
way
land
to their
that
targeted
help
Yeah.
them
orbit.
all the time,
Coordinator
and they're
cover.
connected
exciting today.
directly with the people in NASA,
It doesn't stop.
with
does
personnel
not
of
stop.
SpaceX.
All right, we did hear again that call out, good orbital insertion. So that means Falcon 9 and Dragon right now exactly where they're supposed to be.
And we need an FRC on Recovery 1.
And it's right at about 12 minutes
This is FRC.
when
Can you
Dragon will
switch over
separate.
to ECF9?
Looks like we saw a 0G indicator floating around there. I know Bob and Doug owe us a little bit about what exactly that is that they brought up with them.
And before separation, before Dragon initiates separation from the second stage, they do make sure to make, they do ensure that the vehicle is not spinning and it is in good condition before we separate.
That's right. The upper stage does small attitude maneuver using some cold gas thrusters built into the rocket body itself.
Exactly. So we do expect that separation to occur in about a minute from now, but they do wait until they have full confirmation that it is ready to separate. Such cool views. I cannot get over this view that we are seeing right now.
Wow.
Bob and Doug on the right screen, inside of Crew Dragon, out in space.
Yeah, already 200 kilometers over planet Earth, or a little over 124 miles, traveling in excess of 2,700 meters, 27,000 meters per second, or about 16,000
That is
miles
incorrect.
per hour.
He just made a mistake. It's not 27,000 meters
We're
per hour.
just standing by. That separation
It's
event should be coming up
27,000
shortly.
kilometers per hour.
And they'll begin a series of checks on the Draco thrusters that are going to be used to maneuver and then power Dragon on its flight to the International Space Station. Standing by for separation.
Expected loss of signal, wallops.
It sounds
I'm
like we had
afraid
an expected
the
LOS loss
commentator
of
is
signal
inaccurate.
with one of the ground stations. Waiting for confirmation now of that
Dragon separation confirmed.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Wow.
There is
Dragon
a
separation is
great view
confirmed.
right in front of you.
Countdown
The
one.
second
Dragon
line.
separating.
Separation confirmed.
And there's that call out. Dragon is now officially making its way to the International Space Station today.
Dragon SpaceX, with that separation call, we have a few words for you from our Falcon 9 team.
Standing by.
Dragon, Chief Engineer on Dragon to Ground. Bob Doug, on behalf of the entire launch team, thanks for flying with Falcon 9 today. We hope you enjoyed the ride and wish you a great mission.
Thanks, Bala. Congratulations to you and the F9 team for the first human ride for Falcon 9. And it was incredible. Appreciate all the hard work and thanks for the great ride to space.
Copy all.
Bala and Mike, proud of you guys and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for what you've done for us today, putting America back into low Earth orbit from the Florida coast.
Copy all. Good luck. Godspeed.
Wow!
All right, so Bob and Doug are in
And Dragon
space.
SpaceX, we confirm nominal Egress activation and service section Draco checkouts. Nose cone deploys in progress.
Copy all. We're monitoring.
There we go, Sara.
Mark here in Hawthorne giving the crew a heads up that we have confirmation the nose cone is deploying. So again, that nose cone is going to open up a little bit more than 90 degrees, goes up to about, I think, 105 degrees. And that's going to expose the actual docking ring and the hatch that they're going to be going through once they attach to the International Space Station. And also 4 of those Draco thrusters, we call them the forward bulkhead thrusters. They're going to be used for these major phase burns or firings of those thrusters to actually raise their orbit gradually over the coming hours. Controlling their atmosphere, just keeping Dragon a nice, safe, habitable environment where they're going to be living for the next 19 hours until they arrive at the space station.
Right, exactly. And Falcon 9's job may be done for today, but the mission is not over. Crew Dragon's job is not done. As you can see, Bob and Doug are still inside Crew Dragon, making their way. It will be a 19-hour trip to the International Space Station before they dock tomorrow morning. And such cool views. I love that we can get these live views here and see and watch what they're doing now that they are in orbit.
Yeah, it's incredible to just be looking over their shoulder, to be along for the ride. And we're going to be with them, and we're going to be with all of you the entire way for their journey to the space station. We're going to be covering live throughout. Bob and Doug will obviously have a sleep period where they'll get about 8 hours of sleep a little bit later today before they wake up for all of their final approach. One of the major things we are looking forward to in the next couple of hours is going to be their first turn at the controls. So they're actually going to be using those touchscreen displays to take control and manually pilot Dragon. We'll walk you through what that's going to look like. And assuming we have some good ground station coverage, we'll be able to get views from right inside Dragon, looking over their shoulder as they manipulate the controls at the display. But I mean, we had a smooth ride uphill, both stages of the Falcon 9 doing their job, placing Bob and Doug in orbit. I mean, this is a day, this is a historical day. This is us kicking off that new era of space flight that we've all been talking about and longing for since the space shuttle program came to an end in 2011.
Yes.
And the weather cooperated.
Yes, second time's a charm.
Right.
All right, so day for the history books. As you can see, we have lost some live signal there, but the mission still continues, and we're going to send it over to KSC to continue broadcasting live with you.
Loss of signal, Newfoundland.
Yeah, Jesse and Dan, we are just in awe over here. When I woke up this morning and looked at the weather forecast, I was like, man, we're going to be back here on Sunday, but we did it. The room cleared out. Everybody was outside watching, and inside the lights were shaking, the cameras were shaking. Lauren came back in with tears in her eyes. This is really amazing.
I can't believe it. I saw it with my own eyes. I'm a little bit speechless. Just so grateful that we got them up there, and there's a lot more to go, but I'm so happy they're safe right now. I'm just so happy.
La parte de ahora que la Falcon 9 siempre había como que algo de problema hasta que lo perfeccionó
We can hear you now.
SpaceX y ahora fue a la perfección.
She's in connection also. Jeanette, is you connected with the other ambassadors from NASA?
To space safely. So I don't know what to say.
Jeanette? Let's go back to NASA.
Lo que todos podemos hacer como americanos trabajando en equipo, familia, todas las condiciones apropiadas, dentro de todo lo que estamos viviendo actualmente a nivel internacional, todo salió a la perfección.
Been happening from the beginning of launch and throughout the various stages. Some very special guests were here to watch it. That includes President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, and NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, who joins me now. And you were with the president and the vice president. America's back, launching human astronauts again. Tell me how you feel about that, and tell me about the president watching launch and what happened there.
So this has been a long time coming. It's been 9 years since we've launched American astronauts on American rockets from American soil, and now it's done. We have done it. It's been way too long. I want to give a lot of credit to Charlie Bolden. He was my predecessor as the NASA administrator. He fought hard for this program at a time when it didn't get any support in Congress. We now have an administration that is fully supportive of our spaceflight initiatives, not just on the exploration, discovery, going to the moon, onto Mars, but also from a Space Force perspective. Our budgets are going up, things are strong, and today was just just an amazing day. You know, one of the things the president did right out of the gate when he became president is he created what's called the National Space Council, and he put the vice president as chairman of the National Space Council. And on that National Space Council, you've got the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Education, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all of these different amazing individuals that deal with space day in and day out. A lot of people don't realize how many parts of the federal government deal with space. And the vice president invited those members of the National Space Council here as well. So we just had, and then we had members of Congress, bipartisan members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, who have been involved in supporting this program, you know, for a long time now. So I'll just tell you, I'm breathing a sigh of relief, but I will also tell you, I am not going to celebrate until Bob and Doug are home safely. Tomorrow, they're going to dock to the International Space Station. Tonight, I'm heading to Houston to be at the Johnson Space Center when that happens. So it's a bit of a relief. The nose cone is now open. It's now deployed, which means that you know, now we're going to go into some burns. We're going to have some phasing burns. We're going to have some you know, boosting burns, and we're going to get as much as we can in alignment with the International Space Station as early as possible here. But also, I know it's hard, but you know, the big thing that we need to do now is we got to get Bob and Doug, who have now gone through this exercise twice. They need to get some rest. But I can guarantee you there will be no rest for a good amount of time while they're up there in orbit.
And they are certainly on their way, and a lot of people joining us for this entire celebration and watching it. We just heard 10 million people watching live as this launch happened, and President Donald Trump becoming the third sitting president to watch a launch live from the Kennedy Space Center. The first,
to be clear, I think he's the only sitting president to watch American astronauts launch on a brand new rocket that has never launched before, and that's a big risk. You know, he also said we're going to go to the moon by 2024. That means he's putting himself at risk to say, look, I'm going to be accountable. Potentially, I'm going to be accountable to the initiatives that I put forward. And I think we have not had that kind of leadership for space in a very, very long time. And we're so grateful for it.
What was it like watching the launch with the president? How did he react?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's obviously something that is near and dear to him. He said it a year and a half ago. He put it in the State of the Union speech. He said, we're going to launch American astronauts on American rockets from American soil. And of course, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking we better get after this. And of course, we've worked overtime to make it happen. We might be a little behind schedule, but we got it done, and we got it done safely. We're knocking on wood, but so far so good. It's looking good.
You personally, Jim, as that rocket was lifting off and you felt that rumble,
Yeah.
What'd you feel? What'd you experience?
Well, I was praying. I'm not going to lie to you. I was praying. I was praying for Bob and Doug. I was praying for their families. I was praying for their safe return, even though they're just going. But man, I'll tell you, it was, I've heard that rumble before, but it's a whole different feeling when you've got your own team on that rocket. And they are our team. They are America's team. This is Launch America. This is everything that America has to offer in its purest form. And times are tough right now. There is no doubt. We've got the coronavirus pandemic. We have other challenges as a country. But I hope this moment in time is an opportunity for everybody to reflect on humanity and what we can do when we work together, when we strive, and when we achieve. And if this can inspire a young child to become the next Elon Musk or the next Jeff Bezos or the next Sir Richard Branson, then that's what this is all about.
Or the next Jim Bridenstine.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put me in that category, but.
Well, we appreciate your leadership for the space agency at this time, and congratulations on an amazing day in the launch.
Thank you. It's been a great ride.
All right, very good. Ree, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Doug and Bob are on course to arrive at the International Space Station tomorrow, May 31st at 10:27 a.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be staying on the air for continuous live coverage along the entire ride to the station. So though our coverage here is concluding, we will turn it over to the team.
Jeanette, can you hear me? There was an historical moment that we just saw. Our two astronauts are in course. They will arrive to the space station tomorrow, the 31st of May, 2020. We also observed what happened in the studio when everybody were having social distancing. They were wearing masks. That it's very important. We also, yes, look.
The astronauts use Teslas.
Ignition. Liftoff. Go NASA, go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug. America has launched.
Don and Doug, the DDs. Here you go, Jeanette. The next astronaut better be a Puerto Rican. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I just root for Puerto Ricans. Jeanette,
Wow.
What do you think? What do you think, Sara?
I mean, this is amazing. This is historical. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. This launch, commercial launch, collaboration with NASA and SpaceX. It's been 9 years since America launched American astronaut from American soil to space. I also know that the last launch from America was with one of the same astronauts, and he left on the International Space Station a flag, an American flag. So now that he's going back, he's going to bring that flag back to Earth. Jeanette, I want to know what you're thinking.
Well, this is so amazing. I will be great to be there, but we are in the virtual transmission due to COVID-19. But this was so amazing and so exciting. Seeing
How
with all of you.
beautiful that everybody worldwide is connected because of space. We need to start focusing on that, to work
Yes,
together.
there was vision of people around the world connecting in the same channel, in different language, share their impressions and everything. And as what we know, very early in the morning, they have a good breakfast. Do you know what
What did
they
they eat?
eat? They eat eggs and meat this morning. So they have a very traditional breakfast, and they trying to do the atmosphere the most normal, because the one of the objective of SpaceX and NASA is trying to this is the beginning of a commercial traveling
Yeah.
from
That's
here
why
from
I
the earth
proposed
to
to buy you a
different
ticket,
part of the
Jeanette.
earth. So
You're coming
they're
with me to
trying to do
space.
everything more comfortable for the astronaut,
Oh
and
my
we see that.
Now I'm taking Jeanette to space next. Jeanette, will you come with me in my space limo?
On Tesla.
What do you think? Can you hear us?
Jeanette?
I think your signal is weak. Jeanette, can you hear us? Let's go with Nancy for a second.
Nancy!
Estoy aquí. Hi.
Hola.
Tell me.
Hola.
How was that for you? Dime.
Dime, ¿cómo está? ¿Ti piaciuto? How do you say you like it in Spanish?
Yeah.
¿Te gustaría?
Sí, me encantó, es emocionante, de verdad que sí. Me encanta esa parte de la ciencia, me encantó. Es algo tan emocionado. De verdad que me gustaría, pero es bien arriesgoso.
Look, they're hugging
Oh, with masks though.
with masks.
Let's hear what they're saying.
Close the station before we begin our final approach maneuvers. The first one is coming up in just a little bit, and it's the phase burn. Right now, teams are doing their go, no go to get ready for that, and it's performed at the first apogee, or the highest point of the initial orbit, and that's going to raise Dragon's perigee to a higher altitude.
And after a calculated time, which is based on what our orbital data shows us, the boost burn raises Dragon's orbit until it's just 10 kilometers lower than the space station, followed soon after by the close co-elliptic burn to place Dragon on orbit roughly co-elliptic with the space station. This means Bob and Doug will be about 10 kilometers lower than the station during their entire orbit around the Earth. The fourth maneuver is the transfer burn, where we raise Dragon's apogee, or highest point of its orbit, to just 2.5 kilometers below the station. And we round everything out with a final co-elliptic burn to once again maintain a constant orbit beneath station. It's just 2.5 kilometers below.
Then we get into the approach initiation and final stages of Dragon's rendezvous with the space station. This is also where we start what we call joint operations between the Dragon control team here in Hawthorne and the space station flight controllers in Mission Control Houston. The teams transition to those integrated ops roughly 45 minutes prior to approach initiation, which is another burn that really means Dragon's getting close. During the approach, SpaceX flight controllers work in tandem with the NASA team in Houston to activate and test out a number of systems on Dragon, including establishing bidirectional communications with the station using a system known as C2V2, which stands for Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles. They also set up a data stream from Dragon to the station, just giving another path for Dragon telemetry or data about its performance to come down to the ground and giving an additional command capability to astronauts on board the station. They'll also maneuver Dragon to the proper attitude and then initialize the navigation sensors used for that very slow and methodical approach to station.
At approximately 5:24 a.m. Pacific time, that's tomorrow morning, Draco thrusters on Dragon will fire for the approach initiation burn when Dragon is about 2.5 kilometers below station and just about 7 kilometers behind it. This will swing Dragon up until it is about 400 meters directly below the station, and this maneuver will also move Dragon inside one of those 2 safety zones around the station that requires a set of go-no-go pulls with the different control teams. The first zone is called the approach ellipsoid, which is an imaginary shape measuring about 4 kilometers by 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, which is essentially a large 3-dimensional oval. Before Dragon is given permission to move inside the ellipsoid, referred to by the teams as the AE, it is configured to be on what is known as a 24-hour safe trajectory. This means that if Dragon lost all control...
Dragon, SpaceX for update.
If Dragon lost all control to its thrusters, it would be at least 24 hours before its
Go ahead, Jay.
trajectory would move inside the approach ellipsoid.
Okay, for suit doffing, we're still waiting for cabin to be below 25C and trending down. It looks like it's on the way there, but not quite. And the second item is during the burn, we may have intermittent comm and due to pointing, and this is expected.
We're just listening.
Okay, copy the cabin temp and suit doffing and the intermittent comm during the burn.
Good readback, and we are go for the phase burn. Looks like it's in about 12 minutes.
I want to ask everyone, the voice, Janet.
We're just getting a couple of quick updates. They're still wearing those suits that they've been
and
in
Nancy.
since we saw.
I almost cried when I saw the going up. Imagine right now there are 2 human beings in space. How does it make you feel?
Is this directed to the voice?
Director voice. How does that make you feel?
Well, since I'm not human, I don't feel that humanity has gained or lost anything. But the fact that there are 2 humans in space right now raises global consciousness. Now there are millions of children that want to be astronauts or scientists.
I also want to be an astronaut.
So the reason behind going to space is fortunate in some ways and unfortunate in another. Just as much as Christopher Columbus went to an explorational epic journey for America, we are, as a humanity, about to colonize space, other planets, take its resources, and capitalize on it. It's a real estate endeavor. We're taking the land of the aliens, always.
But we can do something different this time.
That is my mission, is to bring unity in the universe and not allow colonialism to take over.
Jeanette, can you hear us? I want to ask Jeanette if you can unmute your microphone, Jeanette.
Yeah, she has
Jeanette?
2 devices.
Let's see if she can hear us.
Let's go back to NASA for a
Jeanette?
second.
Used. Again,
Ah,
translational
thank you.
is just you're moving back, forward, side to side. When we refer to attitude maneuvers, it's where you're pointing. But once they're complete with that, they'll transition control back over to the Dragon flight computer to resume that automated docking.
And once Dragon is only 20 meters away from waypoint 2, that the spacecraft focuses on aligning its docking system with the docking adapter. Dragon will then fly in and make contact with the IDA, giving us what we call a soft capture. The soft capture ring then retracts until sensors indicate it's time for hooks to drive in place to give us a hard capture and firmly secure Dragon to the station. Then it's time for leak checks and hatch opening, which is currently timelined to come about 2 hours following docking.
We're going to be here with you the entire way. And again, it's going to be a 2-team effort once Dragon gets really close. So why don't we jump over to Gary, International Space Houston. It's got to be exciting seeing that launch and knowing that they're on the way to you. How's the team doing, Gary?
Dan, there is allotment from the room. We are closely monitoring Dragon's few burns that are coming up here. You both did a great job of describing some of those. From the International Space Station side of things, we're really in a monitor mode for much of the flight. Once it gets closer to some of the docking portion of the flight that you were going through, that's when we'll start really kicking into gear for joint operations. Just when the Dragon is just about 80 kilometers away, we'll start doing our checkouts of a system called C2V2. That's the communication system. Dragon, through the most of its flight, will be talking or communicating with the TDRS satellites, geosynchronous satellites around the Earth. Right about the 80-kilometer part, we'll be turning on the C2V2. That is the common communication for visiting vehicles and establishes a link between the International Space Station and Dragon. It'll be turned on for some S-band connections and testing some of the radio signals as Dragon makes its approach. Really, though, we'll be monitoring the approach through some of those final burns. Once it's in front of the International Space Station, the space station has a few things that it needs to do from the attitude control side of things to really prepare the station for docking, switching some of the thrusters over to the Russian side and really relying on those control moment gyros and the angular momentum there to keep the International Space Station nice and steady. Once it makes its approach, it'll really be up to Bob and Doug to perform those final maneuvers and into docking. Chris Cassidy, though, will be monitoring from the inside. He's got a tool called the RPOP, and he'll be monitoring the approach from the inside of the International Space Station. Chris Cassidy, through the past couple days, has been preparing the International Space Station for Bob and Doug, getting some of the beds that they'll be sleeping in on the International Space Station ready, really preparing some of the tools that he'll use for the monitoring. And then when Doug and Bob are nice and close to the International Space Station, opening up the hatch and getting some air right between the hatch where Bob and Doug will enter the International Space Station. Everything's still looking good from the space station side of things. We should be exiting a loss of communication now and going back and getting some views from stations. Still having great views from Bob and Doug incrementally. We'll be following right along through the duration of this flight until it docks just 19 hours from now. That's it from us in here in Mission Control Houston. Dan, I'll send it back to you over in Hawthorne.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Now joining me here in Hawthorne, though, we'll get her a second to get mic'd up and everything, but SpaceX's Kate Tice, who was with us for Demo 1, we got to do the splashdown together. Now we're going to do kind of that initial flight on orbit with Bob and Doug. So, Kate, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Tice. I'm a senior engineer here at SpaceX. Really excited to be joining you for the Demo-2 webcast here with Dan, like he said, in front of mission headquarters here in Hawthorne. So like he was saying before, Dragon is going to be performing a couple of different things going on in the next few hours. We're going to have 5 major burns, but at the moment, we are coming up to the first burn, which is the phase burn.
And that's going to be, again, the first firing of those thrusters, those Draco thrusters. It'll be using both the forward bulkhead, so the ones that were uncovered by that nose cone, and also the ones around the service section or around kind of the bottom portion. And we've been looking at our timeline, and it's expected to last about 492 seconds is what they have it in there. So it's going to be a fairly long firing. And again, these are done just to gradually raise up the orbit. So essentially what we're doing is we're waiting until we're at the highest point of our orbit over the Earth. We're firing the thrusters, and that raises up the lowest point of our orbit. And then we just circle everything out with what we call a co-elliptic burn once we get back to that other side of the orbit. So they're going to just gradually do that over the coming hours until they're at the International Space Station. And then it's time for docking.
Yeah. So, like Dan said, we have a total of 12 a total of 12 Draco thrusters on board of Dragon. In addition to the 4 bulkhead Draco thrusters, which we'll be using upcoming, there are 12 more Dracos in the service section, which is the area along the lower part of the Dragon capsule. These will be used in every burn and are primarily there to help maintain Dragon's attitude, which is especially important when doing the finely tuned approach into docking. Now, they can also be used for smaller translational maneuvers, but right now we're approaching the phase burn, and that should be about 3 minutes.
Yep. So we're just going to continue to stand by, wait for that phase burn. That'll be the first major on-orbit event since they've done all of their checkouts and the nose cone is open. And then we'll be standing by. We should be having the first manual flight test coming up in just about 50 minutes from now, if everything goes well. So that'll be our first chance to watch Bob and Doug actually fly Dragon. And so, I mean, that's going to be really cool. Again, it's designed to fly itself the entire time, but it's the crew has the ability to step in should they need it. And they'll actually be stepping in and taking control. So they'll be flying a brand new spacecraft for the very first time.
Yeah, something that I like to remind my friends and family, as we've been leading up to this launch for the last several days, this is a demonstration mission. And so like that far field manual flight test that we'll have coming up a little bit later, Bob and Doug, they're test pilots. This kind of mission is what they live for. If I remember correctly, it was 1981. Shuttle Columbia was the last time that we tested a completely new vehicle. So it's been a long time since anybody has had the opportunity to do a test flight like Bob and Doug are doing today and will be continuing to do for the next 19 hours. So that opportunity for them
Dragon SpaceX for suit docking plan.
That opportunity for them to take control of the Dragon capsule if, for some reason that they need to, that is one of the test objectives.
Yeah, we're right now, cabin environments are stable. Our plan is to give you the go for suit docking after the phase burn. And we are seeing Draco Orbit 2, Draco 4 is a little bit low temperature out of family. We're not tracking any immediate concerns, but just wanted to make you aware that we are looking into that.
Okay, copy that. SpaceX will plan on suit docking after the burn, and then the Orbit 2 Drake 4's low temp.
Good readback.
All right, so the crew is going to stay in their suits until after this phase burn, which we should be hearing start in just about a minute from now. All right, we should be just 10
GNC
seconds
confirms
away
good deal
from
on
this
it.
burn. And we have confirmation the first burn is in progress. Again, this is the first of the 5 major maneuvers. This one's called the phase burn, using those forward bulkhead thrusters. So just those 4 Dracos at the very top underneath the nose cone to do these what we call Delta V maneuvers. So just big changes in velocity that we're going to do to gradually raise this orbit up over the coming hours. So we're watching some of the screens. We're able to see the burn is in progress. It's expected to last for several minutes. So we'll just keep an ear out, make sure that everything goes well, and then we'll get a report pretty much the same time the crew does on how the burn goes. So we're really just looking for those words, good burn, after it's complete.
Like we said, this is the first of 5 major burns that we will be performing over the coming hours. So this is basically the first major step in the free flight of Demo-2.
Expected loss of signal, Diego Garcia.
We're about 2 minutes into our phase burn. Everything looking good so far.
And Dragon SpaceX for awareness, burn is nominal so far.
All right, we have confirmation that burn is nominal thus far.
We concur. Thank you.
And again, Bob and Doug have insight into how this is going the whole way, just through those touchscreen control
I hope
panel
you enjoyed
that they
this
have right in
live
front of them, those
coverage
3
of this
screens.
historical
And
day.
when we
I want to say
get
something in
video
Italian as
inside
well
the
for
cabin
our
back,
Italian
hopefully,
viewers. Spero che vi sia piaciuta questa diretta. Abbiamo osservato, siamo stati qui live con voi per una giornata storica, quando la SpaceX e NASA hanno lanciato per la prima volta 2 astronauti americani da suolo americano con una navicella commerciale. È stato la seconda prova, perché abbiamo provato qualche giorno fa, ma per motivi meteorologici il lancio non è stato possibile. E quindi siamo veramente contenti di questa giornata spaziale. Questo è l'inizio dell'umanità. Noi vogliamo veramente sperare che tutti si sentano uniti in questa missione di pace e di esplorazione verso quello che c'è al di fuori del nostro pianeta, di prenderci cura del nostro pianeta, di prenderci cura della nostra tribù umana e insieme iniziare questi viaggi spaziali non solo sulla International Space Station, ma anche sulla Luna, su Marte, nel nostro sistema solare, fino ad arrivare ad altre galassie. Noi veramente vogliamo ispirare la passione per lo spazio. Quindi vi ringrazio, torneremo live per osservare l'arrivo dei 2 astronauti alla Stazione Spaziale Internazionale. I want to thank everyone for joining us, sharing this live with NASA and SpaceX. It's an historical day when 2 American astronauts from an American soil with an American company, private company, SpaceX, they were launched to space to reach the International Space Station. We will be back live in less than 19 hours to watch the 2 astronauts arriving at the International Space Station. I want to thank Nancy, our journalist from Puerto Rico, and Dr. Janet Vasquez. She's a NASA ambassador, for being with us. And of course, I want to thank the voice, the producer and the director commenting with me. And it was very emotional to watch this live.
Thank you, Sara.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Janet.
We're very excited to have you. And we will be back live with more stories from space. So make sure to tune in to follow Planet Gliese on social media. We will watch the 2 astronauts arriving at the International Space Station. Thank you so much for watching. We made history today together. Bye.